Good morning. My name is Meg Dillon. I'm the Executive Director of the Advising and Academic Resource Center here on campus. And I'm excited to have you all here today to talk about some advising tools and tips. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about advising alerts through CDS, graduation progress reports, and timeline for communication with advisees. So before I get into that, I just want to remind you all of our office and who the AARC staff is. So first up, we have the Center for Accessibility and Disability Resources, which is Julia Timmons, who's the director, and Teresa Gunter, who's the coordinator for that department. They're also joined by one graduate assistant. Next, we have our Learning Resources staff. Dr. Edie Sims is the director, and Karen Hatter is the coordinator for academic probation and academic warning students, and they also have a graduate assistant in their office. Next is our advising staff currently. We have Allison Tuck, who is our first-year advising coordinator. Christina Olson is transfer and our commuter advising coordinator. Johnny Francis is our pre-health and advising coordinator. And Terry Bodine is our second year access, which is our 25 and above students, and second degree coordinator. So to kind of jump right in, when we're talking about advising alerts, I want you all to understand when we submit an advising alert, whether it's a concern or a praise, how to submit an advising alert, when to respond to an advising alert as an advisor, whether it's a concern or praise, and where to find the advising alerts themselves for your students. So when to submit an advising alert. So when a student, for example, is not attending class and is not communicating with you as the faculty member, it's always a good idea to submit an advising alert. That way we on our end in the AARC can help to partner with faculty who may be struggling to get their students to be attending class. When a student is not submitting assignments or is missing quizzes or tests, those are great times to put in these advising alerts. Poor tests or quiz grades is also a great way to track kind of how your students are doing in the class. And additional ones would be missed meetings, like I said, missed tests or quizzes, not being prepared for the class, especially behaviors that may be disruptive or concerning. Those are times when we should be putting in advising concerns for these students. We also have what we call praise alerts. So when a student's done something really well on a test or a quiz, that they're showing improvement. Maybe the first time they failed the first test, but this time they've gotten a C, and you know that they're putting in the work and really trying. And this is a great way just to boost that overall confidence of your students, and also as an advisor, just to be able to show them that you really care about the work that they're putting in. And as a side note, I did put in here that if you feel there is a bigger concern that might rise to the level of a student of concern referral, you can submit the referrals. You can search for them on our website, and the student of concern referral will pop up. And these are more troubling or disruptive behaviors or threatening behaviors, or students that may confide in you that they're really struggling with mental health or things like that, where we can just additionally support them. And Drew Devening is our case manager here on campus, and he's the first one who gets these. And we also have a care team that gets together to actually support these students from all sides, whether it's housing and residence life, the AARC academically. And so those are great ways to kind of get your students extra support. So how to submit an advising alert. So in this PowerPoint, I'll share this with you all. You can actually go back in and click on the link here, and this document will explain exactly how you go in and put an advising alert in. You're going to see that the information that's shared here is step-by-step directions for how to submit an advising alert, and we can walk you through that. If you have any additional questions, you can absolutely feel free to reach out about that. So when to respond as an advisor to an advisee's advising alert. I know that was a lot of advising in one sentence, but it's important. So when one is submitted. So you as the academic and faculty advisor, we want to partner with you all to be able to support these students. If there are things that come up, it's offering maybe support for the student. It's offering them additional support services. So that could be academic support services such as the Writing Center, past tutoring, math tutoring, Career and Professionalism Center, our PACs, which is our peer-assisted coaches, and then our office as well. and maybe more socially based. Maybe they're struggling socially, and you want to get them connected with someone in student development. We have the clubs and organization, intramural sports, study abroad, etc. for that. And then a lot of times we might see that the health and wellness, or mental health and wellness, really does come up with our students. It's a very real thing. And so providing them with those resources, the Spiritual Life Center, our wellness house, the health center, our counseling center, Drew Devening with Care Team, those are great ways to put our students in touch with the support on campus that they may need. And last, the praise. It's always a great idea just to send that note of encouragement for any praise advising alert that you get, just telling them that they're doing a great job, to keep it up, and that you're there to support them. And so where to find an advising alert? If you as the advisor are selected on the alert when one is sent, you're going to receive an automatic email. You can also go into your CDS and click your advising folder, and the academic alerts will be listed there under the student. And it gives you a historical perspective for your advisees. So all of their past and present praise and concerns for advising alerts will be listed in there. So we're going to jump into our graduation progress report. So we're going to talk a little bit about just generally where you can find the graduation progress report, how you should be reading it and reviewing it, and also giving students their own autonomy to learn the graduation progress report, where it is, how they can find it, and then additionally, thank you, Duane Kramer, shout out here, how to review a GPR for a different major. So there's two ways that we can access the GPR. The first is your My.Lynchburg access. If you log into your My.Lynchburg, you can click Faculty Online, click My Advisees at the top, and then a link by each student shows up in the upper right corner. Then you would click to You Achieve, which is where our graduation progress reports are housed. You'd log in there, and then you can search by the student's ID or name. And then you click the blue arrow beside the student's name and click Run Declared Programs. That will give you the most up-to-date graduation progress report for where a student is at. You can also access it through CDS, and if you log into CDS, you can search your individual student, click on the advising folder, click academics, and then click on their graduation progress report, and then follow those same steps down as you would for your My.Lynchburg. So it's fairly easy access for everyone through You Achieve. So how to read and review a GPR. So here's just some general reminders for everyone as we're reading the GPRs. It first starts out with the total credit requirements to graduate here from the University of Lynchburg, which is 124 overall. And so part of those come from, our Dell general education requirements, their major requirements, potential minors or double major requirements, and then other courses outside of those. And so that's that first box up at the top that will show you as the advisor where that student is at in terms of their overall progress to graduation. The next major section is our Dell general education requirements, or if you're working with the Westover Honors students, the Westover Honors general education requirements. And so this will lay it out for you as the advisor very easily to see what is needed. It gives you a list for each requirement of courses that the student can take to fulfill the requirement. And so here it will show you either a green check that the student has fulfilled and completed that requirement, a blue box that will show you that the student is in progress for that course, or a red X letting you know that they still need that requirement. And so that's a great way to have them go through and kind of map out some courses they might be interested for the general education requirements. The next major section will be their major requirements or majors requirements, depending on if they are a double major or not. And here it will list out the major, it will show you as the advisor what courses they've completed, and also what other requirements are needed. And so that gives the student a better idea as well of where they are tracking in their major. It will show if a student is in progress again, if they've completed the courses, or if they are still needing the requirements. And then underneath the major requirements will be the minor requirements. It will essentially be the same thing. It will give you as the advisor extra tools in order, especially if the minor is outside your area of study, where the student is at and what requirements they should be meeting to make sure we get those before they graduate. The last bigger section there is the writing enriched requirements. And a lot of our writing enriched courses will be built into the Dell General Education or Westover requirements, as well as their majors and minors. And so that does show you the sliding scale for how many they are required to have based on the number of credits they might have transferred in. So this gives you a good idea overall for what students will be needing for writing enriched. At the bottom of the page, sometimes there's listed general electives. So it'll list any courses outside of the requirements for Dell, their majors, or their minors. And these are what we call usually free electives or general electives when we're talking about these courses. It might just be another course that a student's interested in to help them reach that 124 credit hours to graduate. Just something other of note, if you see the letters T, S, or ENR, these might show up in the GPR. So T is transfer work, and that will show you if it satisfies a requirement for their major or the Dell or their honors requirements. Satisfactory would be a satisfactory requirement grade of completion, and ENR is meaning that they are currently enrolled in the course. So just some notes, making sure that the GPR is the correct catalog here for the student, that it's the correct major, the correct minor, and talking and having those conversations with students as you're meeting with them. That way we're making sure that we're providing the best overall advising and the best overall information and most up-to-date information for each one of our students. And that way, if there are any concerns, you can help facilitate the conversation with the registrar's office of things that might need to be done. And so here we did go over a specific example during our in-person meeting for this academic video, but we are today going to skip this. And so if anyone wants to talk about graduation progress reports individually, I'd be more than happy to help you walk that through, and other people within your department may also understand the GPR very well and can help with that. So helping students kind of find that autonomy. Students can also access their graduation progress reports at any time, and this is a really great tool to help them again take that autonomy and knowing where they stand, and it'll help to collaborate better with you as their advisor and faculty members to get them more engaged in the process of understanding what they need to graduate successfully. So as you're doing this, you can have them log on to their my.lynchburg. They'll click their students online and enter their PIN, and then they would click on graduation progress report. And students also can add majors and minors and advisors through their students online at the top. And that's one way where they can, if they decide with you they want to add a major or potentially be a double, or add a double major or potentially add minors, they can do that there. And again here, if you do have specific questions on this process, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. And so to kind of close out that aspect of it, we did a brief advising timeline, just a basic understanding of maybe expectations for students and for you as their faculty advisor. So during our fall semester in the summer, we're doing a lot of the goal setting, scheduling, and academic planning ahead of time for students. And we are pre-scheduling for them before SOAR, and our goal is to really get you all as the faculty engaged as soon as possible once they've declared a major. So with that said, in September, usually checking in transition to the University of Lynchburg, especially with some of our newer students, first years or transfers coming in, making sure that they have those resources and understand your role as their advisor. And so we do usually a mid-semester check-in and grade review once we get their midterm grades, and we really review those with them each individually to provide them, again, additional support resources, whether it's tutoring or the writing center or the foreign language lab, things like that, so that they can get that additional academic support that they might need. Also then, as we're going through and looking through October, November times, we look at the academic path that they are confirmed and rechecked their spring schedule. Usually here it's important to note to check where they're at grade-wise. And then November through January, as we're going through Thanksgiving and then winter break, we're looking for checks to be looked at in terms of just general requirements. For example, something that might pop up is that you do have a student who doesn't successfully complete a course, that they did not pass that course with a satisfactory grade. This is where the student should be looking at those and reaching out to you as the faculty and saying, hey, I need to retake this in the spring, but also taking it an extra step further for you as the advisor to take the time to look at their grades. Maybe they took a Spanish 101 in the fall and were not successful, and they're signed up in the spring to take a Spanish 102, when in reality they will need to change that course. And so those are just some of the things that we would like all faculty advisors and advisors in our area to be aware of and to be cognizant of. That way we can make sure that we're giving the students exactly the support that they need. In January, we're doing, again, reviewing academic plans and advisor expectations. And then after the first month, usually we're checking in with them, engaging them with campus resources, career conversations. And then again, mid-semester check-in. We're looking at those grades at midterms. We are giving praise where praise is due, and maybe giving a little extra support to the students who may be struggling, and putting in those advisor alerts even as the advisor for historical purposes. That way, as we are collaboratively supporting these students, that we can kind of have a running idea of where and how these students are tracking. And then after that, we're looking in April usually for course registration. So academic planning for the following year. And this is a great way to really engage with your students. It's not just, okay, great, send me some courses that you're interested in, I'll give you your code. It's that moment of being able to meet with them, have the opportunity to really get to know them, and then talk through their goals and what they want to be doing for their futures in their careers, in their majors, and then actually having a conversation about required courses that they may need, and then supportive courses that might be interesting to them. And then again, final check in May, looking at those grades, making sure that they were successful and don't need to repeat any courses, or reaching out about potential summer course offerings. And so I think with this advising timeline, it just gives us a good idea of kind of when we should be reaching out to students, and that the onus isn't just necessarily on the student to reach out, but we would love to be proactive in how we support and collaborate with each other and with our students. And this also just gives us a great idea of, really taking the time to build relationships with our students, that it's not a one-off, here's your code, see you next year, but that we're actually engaging with them, that we're providing them with opportunities and networking and resources. And so I'm really grateful for all that the faculty do to support our students on campus. And I think that overall, I just wanted to thank you all and give you that shout out, because you all really are on the front lines of working with our students and helping to support them and advise them. And so if you all have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me. I know this video might seem short. In person, we were able to actually look through some of these examples and go through them. And so if you are interested in doing that, please feel free to reach out to me and we can find a time to meet, or other people within my department can have that space and availability. So again, thank you all for your support of the AARC and all that we're doing, and we are very excited to help to support you all and all of your endeavors. And our ultimate goal is to provide great quality advising for our students and to collaborate to make them successful. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.